local people, local news and events, local sports, local matters. For all things Lloydminster area, this is Live with Kurt Price.
Hey, thanks for joining us here at Spiro's today for Love Story. We remind you that back at the new Lloydminster Nissan, the 2025 models keep arriving daily. Check out the beautiful new 2025 Murano, completely redesigned. And you can also check out the very exciting 2025 Nissan Armada or the 2025 Armada Pro 4X. And you can get to a 2024 Armada right now with up to $5,000 in savings. And in our service department right now, you get Saskatchewan and Alberta safeties for just $79.99. That's only at the new Lloydminster Nissan, where tires are always at cost. Our love story today features Tim and Sheila Gibbs, and we have my wife here, Heather Price, with us as well today. We're going to be talking about Tim and Sheila's love story in just a few moments, brought to you by Spiro's and brought to you by Richardsons Jewellery. And we were talking about this last time about we now have our wedding rings, and last year we were talking about how nervous I was when I went in to buy the engagement ring, and I was really nervous when we went in to pick out wedding rings because she was with me this time, but I was also worried about spending money, and and Wayne was just awesome with that part of it. He was fantastic, and you knew what you wanted before we even got in there, which shocked me because we tried on every ring in the store, and then the last one she goes, "This is the one," and then she says, she adds this little tidbit, "Yeah, this is the one I was looking at online. I figured it was going to be this one."
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I'm like, why have we been here for an hour trying on rings when you knew which one you wanted?
Sometimes they look a little bit different in person, so you want to make sure you've got the right one. And I did.
And the other thing that we remind you is you love going in to get your ring serviced as well. You love getting it cleaned and things like that all the time too at Richardson's.
Yes, because you can come in anytime. They'll clean them up for you. Then they sparkle and shine. It's perfect.
Yeah. And the other thing is, if you're going, if you want to keep your engagement private, they'll open up for you at a certain time. Now, I didn't do that. Matt kept telling me, when you're ready, Kurt, you can.
Do they do a full rotation when you take it in for servicing, or just a partial rotation?
Oh, I think it's a full rotation.
Full rotation.
Yep. They always sparkle afterwards, so it's got to be a full rotation.
Full rotation. So we just remind you, go in if you want to have a private showing or whatever, you can arrange that. But they're fantastic at Richardson's Jewellery. Of course, they're awesome in the community as well. Superior Water is proud to provide you with the purest drinking water possible, and I drink it because I like the taste, I believe. After all, if it's Superior Water, it is indeed superior water. And ice for that Crown Royal is just $2 a bag, and you can fill up your Big Blue jugs for just $3, located beside Sheepskin Loft on 57th Avenue, or you can stop in at their coin-operated location on Highway 17 South. At Superior Water, water treatment is what they do, and they do it well. Earlier this week, we were out delivering another dozen Cupcakes for Caregivers, presented by Lloydminster Sobeys and the Lloydminster District United Way. And we're excited to present one special caregiver, a dozen signature cupcakes, and more than that, tell everyone why they are so good at what they do, whether that is a professional caregiver like a doctor, a nurse, or home care staff, or whether it's someone that works out of their own home, just taking care of their spouse or taking care of their children and doing it so well. Now, last week, we were excited to deliver a dozen cupcakes to Roxanne Collision, the child care manager at Residence in Recovery, who not only takes care of her own kids, but also 35 other kids. And we talked to Tyler Lorenz, and he said these kids are really in need of special care, and she provides it. So if you have someone that you would like to nominate for Cupcakes for Caregivers, just send it in an email, livewithkurtprice@gmail.com, and tell us all about that special doctor, nurse, or your mom, your dad, whoever it is that's taking care of someone that you love in your family. Well, we are really, really excited to get to Tim and Sheila's story. So what we'll do is we'll take a short break, and we'll come back and we'll find out how they met, how they fell in love, and are they still in love? No, we'll take that for granted. When we come back, we'll find out more about Tim and Sheila Gibbs on Love Story, brought to you by Richardsons Jewellery and Spiro's.
At Diamond 7 Meats, we work with local farm families to provide a high-quality product and a great selection for you. Try our mouth-watering smokies, pulled pork, roast beef, and more, made pure and natural with no additives or fillers. We offer custom processing, and our experienced team works for you to provide a selection of sausage, burgers, and jerkies made to your specifications. Take your grilling to the next level with a Yoder smoker. Complete the grilling experience with a Canadian-made, award-winning line of House of Q barbecue sauces. We're locally owned and operated, and we look forward to seeing you today.
At CK McKean Roofing, they understand what it took to put that roof over your head for your family. With over 20 years of experience under their belt, they strive to show you that with their workmanship and their integrity. Not all roofing companies are created equal, and that's why CK McKean Roofing encourages you to focus on your most important investments, your home and your family. CK McKean Roofing. Roofers do it on top.
At Lloydminster and District Co-op, membership matters more. Because being part of a co-op means you're connected to something bigger than yourself. From long-held legacy by those who built our communities, to people you call family, friends, and neighbors. When you're a Lloyd Co-op member, you're an owner in a local business that prides itself on purpose alongside profit. You earn cash back, you help support causes that matter most, and you're building a better way of life for the next generation. Membership matters more.
Welcome back to Spiro's. BioClean Disaster Services is committed, certified, and reliable and will help you get your life back. BioClean Disaster Services is Lloydminster's local restoration company. They're also Lloydminster's largest restoration company. Taking care of your property, taking care of your belongings, that's very important. But what really matters to BioClean Disaster Services and will really matter to you should you suffer any kind of disaster with your home or business is that BioClean Disaster Services takes care of you and takes care of your family. 1-833-246-8326. That's what BioClean Disaster Services is all about. Getting you back to where you were before the disaster as a family, and of course, if it is your business, as a business. Well, Heather Price is my co-host today on Love Story, brought to you by Richardsons Jewellery and Spiro's, and our special guests are Tim and Sheila Gibbs, and you have probably seen them on stage around performing in Lloydminster under a couple of names for Sheila, but the Prairie Dogs as a couple, and so we're excited for them to join us. Thanks for agreeing to take part in our Love Story.
Oh, thanks for inviting us.
We kind of felt like we had to, actually, because every time we play, Heather usually comes up and either sings or dances with us when she's in
It's true. Mm-hmm.
So,
it's true.
So it's like we couldn't really say no.
And I generally hide.
But not last time, so that was great.
It's pretty good at hiding.
Well, okay, so tell us how you guys met. We know where you live now. Did you always live north of Lloydminster? Where does this relationship start?
Okay, I will begin because
I think you should.
Because she's going to be right and you're going to be wrong no matter what.
That's right.
my parents moved to Lloydminster when I was in university, and so one summer, I moved back. And my dad said, there's a guy, my dad's minister, and there's a guy in the youth group who's about your age, and he is in a band. He's a drummer, and he knows that I told him that I play guitar. And so this drummer, he invited me out to the band practice, which happened to be at Tim's place. But Tim wasn't there yet because he had about 4 different jobs. So
Oh.
they're playing a little bit in this shop, and then all of a sudden this guy, blonde hair, comes up in this motorbike, squeals
Oh.
and puts on his bass, and and then instantly we fell in love. No, that's not true. But we had a great friendship from that whole summer. That Tim's band and we hung around all summer long, and then I went back to university, and Tim had this band, and then at Christmas
Can
time.
I interject for a second?
Oh yes.
I have to give my, perception of when we met.
Yes, please
I
do.
ride up on my motorbike, which is very accurate. And there's this really cool looking kind of hippie-esque girl sitting out front. And I'd never seen her before. And I was like, she looks very cool. I was like, wow, who is she? And she was so good looking. I was like, oh my goodness, and a beautiful
And then
smile.
right behind that girl, it was
Stop it.
Anyway, continue on. If you're there.
So-
You forgot the part where your blonde hair was
Blowing in the wind.
That's right.
And so I came back home at Christmas, and Tim invited me out for supper, and he gave me a rose, and I was like, that's
Aw.
so nice. Huh. And we had supper, and I went home, and I was like, hey, to my sisters, he gave me a rose. Isn't that nice? They go, well, he likes you. I was like, no, he doesn't. We're just friends. But
Turns out a lot of people gave Sheila roses back then. If I'd have only known everyone gave her roses, I'd have got something else. Jeepers.
But then
Sorry, Sheila.
we just started writing letters and stuff back when people wrote letters, and just throughout the
Because Sheila was in university in PEI at the time, so.
So
Oh, you forgot to mention B.
I was
That's
far away.
Yeah, so it's a little ways
Yeah.
out.
That is
Yeah.
a long distance relationship.
And so the next semester we started writing, and I was like, hey, I do like this guy a lot more than a friend and stuff.
And by the way, I just want to point out that Sheila was an English major in university and was taking also creative writing as well. So if you want to feel intimidated.
When you're writing her
When you're
a letter.
writing.
You're writing.
You wrote such good letters.
Oh yeah,
He did.
Be very scared. You're talking about going into Richardsons Jewellery and being scared about picking out a ring. Write a letter to an English major taking creative writing. That is scary.
But anyhow, the next summer we started going out, and then in August
Which I
I
thought
left
was
for
a slight
Europe.
miracle after me writing to you.
What was in these were they love letters, or were they just like, here's
just
what's
getting-
going on back here?
This is what I had for breakfast today.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
'Cause he was on the road. Were you on the road yet?
No, not yet.
You were just playing.
Yeah, just starting out on
Starting out
playing,
in
yeah.
band. So it was just getting to know you letters, and it was great. It was a great way to get to know people, a person,
Yeah.
people.
Because we actually didn't start dating until Sheila got back from university that year. So it was all my writing was just, trying to get to know her and stuff like that, and trying to brainwash her into dating me when she got back.
I am going to date him. So it worked.
It's quite tricky. You have to really work at it.
So after 3 months going out, I moved to Europe, and
Oh, that was not what I was expecting.
no,
Yeah, Sheila came
and
back and she was, we were working at the
Bar
Bar
Colony Center.
That's right.
Yeah,
And a couple other jobs because your dad liked having you busy.
I'm very busy.
And there, of course, I think he was trying to keep her away from me because at the time it was quite funny because not only was I playing in several bands and doing other things, but when I tried to buy this one car and it didn't pan out. And the car right beside it that was for sale at the time was this Camaro, 1989 Camaro.
Bad.
It was quite funny because it had chains for door handles and it had an 8-ball for the gears.
And
It was a
inside
very
was crushed
funny- yeah,
velvet.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
Oh.
quintessential 80s.
So I go to
Yes.
pick up Sheila, and I was thinking the whole time, there's the minister dad seeing this guy drive up and opens the door, and there's the chains hanging from the car.
It was either a motorbike or the car.
I know, and I did have a motorbike at the time
Yeah,
as well.
so-
So I mean, the poor guy. So yeah, I was like, it was quite funny.
But that's kind of how we started going out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And they're-
you
and they're-
moved to Europe.
Yeah, Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
What were you working there?
Yeah, I was an au pair, which is like a nanny, but lower in the rungs.
Don't say that. Au pair sounds fancy.
No, I was an au
I was
pair.
an au pair.
Yeah, and I hated it. And then
So it wasn't The Sound of Music.
it was not.
Although you were singing.
That's true. I just
It was actually
It
really
was-
awesome. Sheila learned to, like in Switzerland, it's really cool. You can actually like go busking there. So play on
Yeah.
the street.
Yeah.
And make very good money. Busking,
Yeah,
it's quite hilarious because
that is-
their coins are, what do the coins go up to?
5.
5, yeah.
Yeah.
And so people walk by throwing coins all the time, and you can do really well. So Sheila, she was cute as a button, and she learned all these songs, and it sounded great. So she was doing very well
Yeah.
busking as well. So it's very cool.
And then Tim came to visit me at Christmas time, and we went to Salzburg for Christmas, which was
She'd been-
wonderful.
she'd
Oh,
been ready.
you were serious by then.
Pretty much,
Well,
yeah.
I was at least.
No, we're pretty serious. And then, so we went to Salzburg, and you can tell your version of the story.
Oh, no, you're doing great. I love your version.
I kind of want to hear Tim's version now.
It's
I'll
just-
chime in. I love it.
In Salzburg, we went to this really cute, like kind of Airbnb, and it was beautiful. And we were in this little loft, and
And we picked up, was it pine boughs off the street in front of the stores that the stores had left, had fallen off trees and stuff, and we built ourselves a little Christmas tree in the room.
yeah,
That's cute.
yeah. And
It was
then
very funny.
we had presents for each other, and I can't remember what I gave Tim, but Tim gave me this little box, and I was like, and I opened it up, and it was a necklace. I go, oh, thank goodness. He goes, what do you mean?
I know, that is literally what she said.
I know.
Oh, thank goodness. And I go, oh, really?
No,
I go, well, guess what? And I'm so mad because I'm
He is-
a very stubborn person. And I go, guess what? You'll never have to worry about me asking that question.
Wow.
So
She's like, what?
we had just been dating for 3 months, and I thought he was going to propose, so I was glad that it was a necklace. And then I came back, and I think I worked for a year at the Bar Colony Center, and then I went to Calgary for 2 months, or 2 years. But
And we're still dating through the...
we're still dating through all this. And then Tim wasn't proposing or anything, so I got a watch, a really nice watch, and on the back I said, "Will you marry me?" So I had to propose because he's so stubborn. But
So I'm curious. Like Tim, she goes to Prince Edward Island. She goes to Switzerland. She moves to Calgary. At any point were you like, she's trying to get away from me?
Yeah, but that didn't stop me.
He's stubborn, remember?
You're a
Yeah.
serious stalker. You don't let that go.
But it seems to me like from the moment you pulled up on
the
your bike
motorbike.
and saw this hippie girl out front, you'd kind of made up your mind. That's the girl for me.
Yeah,
Would I
pretty
be
early on,
wrong?
yeah. Definitely early on in dating, yeah. Yeah, I told my brother, it was actually before we started dating. I remember saying that, I was like, I think she's actually the one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I never
Which
knew
was really
that.
weird. I know, crazy. Eh?
Yeah, you're gonna make
Of course,
me
I just fallen
cry.
off my motorbike at the time, and
Hit his head.
and I wasn't quite sure, but I'm sure that's how it went down. But
I
I didn't hit that hard.
Yeah.
I should have been wearing a helmet. I know.
But it took you a little bit longer, Sheila, to go, this is, this guy
It's
is.
4 years.
No.
4.5, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, about that. No.
But after your sisters were like, he likes you.
I was no. It was just the that summer at the end of the summer when I went to, because I had already planned this Europe trip. So it's not like I was going to run away from you. No, so
It wasn't your dad. It
it's
wasn't
only
your dad
Switzerland.
booking the tickets.
yeah, Sheila,
It
you
wasn't
go
Australia.
now. Yeah. So no,
Switzerland's so romantic.
yeah, no, probably like a couple of months into Switzerland after we phone called and
After I came to visit.
came to visit, and just like, yeah, he's the one. So that's, yeah. And then I went to Calgary.
It must have been hard being away, though. It must have been being hard for, being away from each other.
It was, but Tim was, he was almost on the road at that time. So he would have been
Actually, I was.
gone, yeah.
I started on the road when you were in Switzerland.
Okay,
So you
so,
started on the road with a band,
Yeah.
yeah.
not as a truck driver.
No.
but-
Yeah,
Oh, I
sorry.
could drive the truck one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was in the band and he was on the road all the time, so it wouldn't have been much different. So,
Right.
Right.
so when I was in Calgary, he drove down each weekend, or I came up.
Yeah, on my weeks off from playing, that's where I went to
Yeah.
Calgary all the time.
Yeah.
And she had my car, so I kind of had to go there.
You had to.
With the 8-ball?
Yeah. Oh, no, then the next one was the Mustang.
Yeah.
Oh, the Cavalier, and then
You
the
had the
Mustang,
Cavalier.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about that in the way in, how he has some really good cars, and I got to drive them all, because he was on the road playing music.
Yeah.
So Sheila has a watch, and it has "Will You Marry Me" on the back. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll find out about this watch and how that went down. We'll be right back.
How can you help support the oil and gas industry and jobs in Western Canada? The answer is closer than you think. Sell your scrap metals to PWM Steel. PWM sells scrap iron to Evraz, located in Regina. Evraz's #1 customer is the energy sector, building pipes and plates for the oil and gas industry. PWM Steel is your locally owned metal recycler and steel service center in the area. Plus, they're a strong supporter of the community. PWM Steel, your top steel supplier for Alberta and Saskatchewan for 40 years.
At Jason Arden Associates Cooperators, we're proud to be a top-rated local insurance company that offers flexible solutions and expert advice for all your insurance and investment needs. We'll work with you to tailor your insurance specific to your needs, and we offer investment advice that always puts you first. At Cooperators, one of our core values is to give back to the communities that we live in. Thanks to the support of our clients in Lloydminster and area, in 2023, Jason Arden Associates has donated $40,000 to local nonprofits, charities, students, athletes, and other special events. How does your insurance company support our community?
It's more than just taxes at LNA CPA. Assurance, accounting, retirement planning, estate planning, business consulting, financial consulting, farm program support, and bookkeeping. But yes, there is always taxes. The team at LNA CPA is committed to helping you achieve your best results and will be there to assist you every step of the way. LNA CPA, with offices in Provost, Vermilion, and Lloydminster.
I'm Brian Zinchuk of PipelineOnline.ca. I used to be a pipeliner, and I've spent the last 15 years reporting on energy in Saskatchewan. PipelineOnline.ca provides comprehensive coverage of light oil, heavy oil, lithium, helium, power production including coal, wind, solar, geothermal, natural gas, and nuclear. There's a lot happening in Saskatchewan's energy sector, and Pipeline Online is there for all of it. No one else comes even close.
Wellings of Lloydminster is an active 55 and over community with 66 bungalow townhome villas on a very flexible lease. Each unit contains a full kitchen with 5 appliances, walk-in showers, and in-suite laundry. Whether you're looking for 1 or 2 bedroom villas, the choice is yours for high ceilings, low ceilings, but your 2-bedroom villas also come with a deep garage. But living in Wellings is like having everything done for you. Carefreedom living means you're not out shoveling snow when it's minus 20. You're not out cutting grass when it's plus 20. You have everything done for you. And that means traveling is very easy. And it also means that if you're starting to have some health issues, you can still live independently without having to worry about hurting your back while you're shoveling snow or doing anything like that. Appliance breaks down, that's somebody else's problem. They come in and they fix it for you. Call Darlene at Wellings of Lloydminster, 780-872-8537, and have a walk through one of their awesome villas. We welcome you back to Spiro's, and we're kind of in the middle of a love story here between Tim and Sheila Gibbs, and the love story is brought to you by Richardsons Jewellery and Spiro's, and we're at Spiro's here today, and you were saying you got to watch, because Tim, I believe the exact words were, he is so stubborn. Because he was, were you offended when you gave her the necklace and she was relieved that it wasn't an engagement ring? Were you really offended, Tim?
A little bit, probably.
Yeah.
I'm a sensitive musician, you know. We're a sensitive type, and rejection is hard to handle.
But when he said you're never going to get a proposal out of me,
I didn't say I wouldn't marry her. I just said
I'm never going to do that.
Yeah. Did you think he was joking when he said that?
Probably, and then I realized as the years went by, he really meant it. Yeah.
How many years?
3 years, because I lived in Calgary for 2 years, and then I always say I was trying to be a folk musician, and I was
because that's what you were trying to be.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I said.
And I was in a duo, but then that kind of fell apart, and so I was like, how am I going to make my living being a musician? Well, Tim has a successful band. If I marry him, I can get into the band, and
Perfect.
It's perfect. So
it's kind of a win-win.
Win-win. So I got this watch made up.
You get in the band.
I got this watch made up, and it was Christmas time, and we went for a drive out by his place, and I gave him this watch, and he wouldn't turn it over because he knew it was. And
Wait a minute. What? You saw it. You kind of saw what it was, and then you're like, "I'm just going to make her wait."
Because you're that stubborn.
I'm so bad.
You are bad. He's very, very bad. But anyhow, and then I joined the band after we got married, and he lost the watch. So
What?
But I lost the watch with Sheila there. Admittedly.
Okay, take me back to when I got to go back though to when, like, do you get frustrated and say, "Look at the back of the watch," for crying out loud?
Pretty much.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was pretty much that way.
So you,
But I did say yes, and then I started to cry.
Sensitive musician.
Yeah, I was crying, and I was
cried.
sad,
Aw.
and then I was happy because I could read.
And I didn't put in too many big words.
but
Thank you very much.
But after you were married, you lost the watch.
Why do we have to skip to that point?
I want to talk about the wedding as well, but I want to know how you lost. Like, did you ever find the watch?
No, sadly.
No, we were playing in Saskatoon because I joined the band by then, and it disappeared from the hotel room.
Oh no!
So
Yeah.
it was
Yes,
lost.
it was,
So
Right.
Yeah.
Someone walked away with it, and now someone else has an engraved watch.
say, will you marry
Will
me?
you marry me?
A very nice Sanyo.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's right. No, it's a beautiful watch. Yeah, it's great.
So how long were you guys engaged before you got married?
Was it 4 years?
No, it was 8 months because
8
we
months.
got married the next August. So
Where'd you
1994.
guys get married?
At the Anglican Church in town because my dad married us.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Minister at the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
Big wedding.
Pretty big, yeah.
Not too bad. Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were very good.
Did your band play?
No, we had friends of ours playing. We did get up and sing a few though. But yeah, no, it was fun.
It was
Yeah,
it was a great
awesome.
wedding. So and we had our dance at Alker Hall. So
Oh, yeah.
so that was fun and close.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a great wedding.
Yeah, it was very good.
Big wedding.
Not really big.
Well,
I
yeah.
think my stag was bigger.
Yeah. Tim's Stag is legendary. I'm still finding people saying, "Hey, you know what? I was at Tim's Stag."
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it was.
What can you tell us about this stag? Anything
Not much.
or?
Not much, actually. No, we can't.
There's some uncomfortableness there. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was quite the stag though.
Yeah. So you get married in Alcurve. What year would that have been, if you don't mind?
1994, probably the year you guys were born, so.
Yes, how accurate.
Yeah, right.
knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
I wish. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew we had that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you guys become the duo Prairie Dogs? Like, when do you stop? Like, you still have the band at that point?
Yeah, we were playing on the road for up until 2007. We played as a full band. From 94 to 2007, and then at that point, Sheila actually had a seizure on stage after we were done tearing down, or on a Sunday, and then it took several months, and it turned out she had a brain tumor. So that was obviously an incredible shocker, and she was given, at that time, she was given 5 years to live, and so. Yeah, I shouldn't talk about it, but anyways, it was amazing because not only did she survive, but Sheila was absolutely incredible through the whole thing. Like, she just, I was a wreck, but she's just like, well, it has to happen to somebody, you know, it happens all the time, chances are, and she took it like absolutely amazing. So, yeah, true story. So, absolutely incredible person, but she survived. And so basically what happened is, during that time, because she was having so many seizures and they were having trouble with the diagnosis, we won't get into that story, but she couldn't walk for a while, she couldn't use her hands for a while, stuff like that. So part of the treatment, that at least what I was getting her to do, was to practice guitar, just to even strum, do anything to try and get her coordination back, because it was totally messed up. And during that time, of course, she had written all these songs that were kind of fun kid songs she did at university. She used to do this thing that she'd send tapes home to her parents, where she called herself Ernestine Hepburn. And she did this whole thing, what was it, Q-tip radio or something?
Q-tip radio.
Yeah, and she'd do this whole dialogue. It was hilarious. And she'd just record this thing and send home tapes to her parents, because, you know, she knew they'd want to hear her voice and hear her stuff. And I
wasn't very good at phoning, so I sent tapes.
Yeah. And I thought they were hilarious. I thought they were great. So I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for you to write a bunch of songs and us put together a kid CD. While, you know, you're sick. I was home farming, and I was working for another guy helping farm, just to keep income in while we weren't playing music and stuff like that. So Sheila started writing at home and started getting her movement back and started getting stuff, and then she went into cancer treatment, and miracles upon miracles, she came through that. And they had a new drug at the time, a new type of chemo, and it worked, and it and radiation did the trick, and no operation. They weren't able to operate because it was so deep. They decided that she'd be paralyzed for life.
Tiny brain, big tumor.
Yeah. And so it was kind of very fortunate. They decided, the guy that was our main doctor.
I thought you weren't going to talk about this. You were going to talk about
Yeah, I know.
Ernestine
But
Hepburn.
we're just really lucky, though, that he was kind of so knowledgeable in everything, right? And we went the route. Anyway, so she goes through all that, and she writes these songs, and then we do, before she's kind of finished, the doctor said, you know, you should really, if you want to do something, do it now, kind of thing, right? So we're like, Sheila wanted to go to Australia, I wanted to go to New Zealand, so we went to New Zealand.
We decided together, though, because we thought New Zealand is a bit more manageable.
That's good. That's
a
a true story.
pushover.
Yeah, I know. She was weak at the point.
Yeah, she's weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sheila, you want to go, don't you?
And on our New Zealand trip, was it 2 months or something, our first time
Something like
there?
that, yeah.
It was hilarious trip, like absolutely hilarious, because the people there are just, it was so insane, because
They're so nice.
Yeah, they scared us half to death at first, because the first people we meet, like, we got there, and by this time we'd started playing again. So Sheila got, we did kind of our first duo gig at Algarve Hall, just a small,
the Prairie Dogs.
as the Prairie Dogs, as just a thing to play. And we thought, you know, like while Sheila was getting better and getting coordination back, we thought the best thing to do was just to play music, right? Music makes us happy, you know, it's takes your mind off everything else. You just have fun and play music, and it also making other people have fun makes you feel good too, right? There's nothing better than seeing other people kind of forget their worries, forget everything, and just have a good time. So we did that.
That's our advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, and it is so awesome. Like
It is.
we're so lucky to be able to play music together, and that's such a huge part of, you know, who we are,
Yeah.
really.
So what year was that? 2007?
Yeah, so that would have been 2008
Okay.
that Sheila had finished her treatment, and that we
And you had
started
the-
playing, and we hadn't recorded the songs yet for Ernestine Hepburn, but Sheila basically had them all written. So then we go to New Zealand, and right away we met a teacher through friends of ours, and she invited us to come and sing at a school.
Oh.
And we're scared us half to death. I'm like, oh my goodness, we don't have kids, and we're gonna be thrown in front of kids to sing at a school. But it was awesome. The kids were great.
Yeah.
And
The only kid song I knew really is I Like Farm Trucks, which I sing
Which
all
is
the
a
time.
good one.
Thank you.
Yep.
But we did Sweet Caroline and showed them,
we learned a New Zealand song.
we learned a New Zealand song and showed them wild animals from a calendar. But it was really fun and very engaging with the kids, and it was great. So when we got home, we're like, maybe we should try to work on this angle as well for music, because it's just another way to play music and a different audience.
And because Sheila already had the Ernestine Hepburn name from her
Yes.
university
Yeah.
time and stuff, we just went that route, and that's where that all came about. But it was all because Sheila was stuck at home and just stuff to keep busy, and writing was such a huge thing for mental health, right? Like it was just so good because she could just focus on that, and I think it totally sped up her recovery. Like she was just so focused on writing that it really was just awesome for her. Like it was good for me too, because I'd come back from a day and she'd sing new songs she'd written, and it was really good.
So I was on the radio at that time. I remember when you were diagnosed with your brain tumor. And it wasn't just like Heather, it wasn't just like Tim and Sheila were worried. You could feel it in the community. You could feel it like it was, you could feel it. You could feel the love for Sheila.
We
the
had
community,
so
particularly
much
north of
support.
Lloydminster.
Oh, we had
Yeah.
so much support. It still boggles my mind today, because everyone was just so supportive. Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, and Aaron Buckingham was one of the ones that helped with the fundraiser for us.
I was at that fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the Alcurve Hall.
Yeah.
Hall, yeah.
Yeah, at the Alcurve Hall. We had a great time that night.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody from the radio station went.
Oh,
Yeah, and we had
awesome.
amazing. We
Yeah.
had amazing. We had fundraisers from Prince George and
To
Brooks,
Brandon.
to Brandon, like all over the place. We're doing Regina, and they'd all send us videos of the fundraisers, and we were able to make it to a couple of them and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But we had such amazing support.
Well, I'm trying to think back to that night, and I think, like, I remember seeing you on stage. It was like, other than your hair, you would have known you were sick, right?
Yeah, she looked amazing.
Yeah.
No, she did.
Yeah, other than
Yeah.
shorter hair,
Yeah.
you wouldn't known that she was sick. But I'm glad you mentioned it, because, like, I think you're absolutely right, Tim. I think it would be scarier for you than it would be for you, because I know if it was Heather, I'd be like, okay, she's going to be gone, but I can't live without her.
Yeah, I know.
That's the way-
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're you work together all the time, everything you do, so yeah,
Yeah, you rely on that person not only for, like, they become sounding boards, they become absolutely everything.
Everything,
So
yeah.
you're like, what would like, it's hard to imagine what life would be like without somebody to that point. And especially in Tim's situation where
Sheila did everything.
where he fell in love with you instantly,
Yeah.
right? Like, I feel like, Tim, you like, I find that amazing that you just knew as soon
Yeah.
as you saw her.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, to me, that's,
Well, I was pretty cute back then.
I love how you say back then. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But-
she was just, I mean, the great thing about Sheila is that, like, what I loved off the bat is that she was just herself. You know, she was so comfortable in her own skin, and she was so smart, extremely well read. You know, yeah.
And you were a farm boy.
Yeah, I know. I'm a hick.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, no.
A hick with an awesome voice, an awesome talent. So.
But he flies planes. He has his pilot's license. He has his license for anything that he can drive. He's so smart at computers and sound equipment.
I'm a flying walker too. You ever seen me walk?
Oh, you barely stumble.
Some people, you know, they kind of look funny when they walk, but I pride myself in my walking ability.
That when you
not bad.
when you came through your cancer treatments, were you guys closer?
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
Did you feel like before you weren't living, and then afterwards, like what changed in your guys' relationship after that?
Let's go travel.
Yeah.
It did, eh?
Yeah,
It did.
to experience more. I mean, I love being in a band. It was like it's a really neat, but it has the other components of being in a band. It was bands are bands, and you know, there's 4 musicians, but there's always us as a couple. So when we became a duo, and it was just kind of an extension of our life.
Yeah.
So,
and I think also one of the things that, like, after the treatment and after we were given the okay to travel, because the biggest thing is that Sheila couldn't go on any flights for a while either, because they're worried about the pressure rate in your brain. So one of the biggest things, once we were given the green light to travel, we also had a little talk just saying that, you know what, you know, life is very unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. So when we do things from now on, let's not just say no because we feel uncomfortable about doing something. So when we travel and someone offers us food, for instance, at a place that, you know, I was not a fish eater. I'm a prairie boy.
I'm with you.
And I, you know, to me, if someone offered me fish or you know, seafood, whatever, I would generally say no, you know, or no, thank you. Very polite.
Very polite, yes.
you are Canadian.
But I just said, I go, you know what? I go, from now on, I said, I will try my best not to do that. You know, let's when we go travel or when we go do anything, let's just be more open to experiences to learn, right? And just appreciate what's around us. And the things I've eaten now, I wish I'd have said no, but still, but it's amazing. And it was so funny that we said this before we traveled, because I just think it's absolutely hilarious. We couldn't have picked a better place for that experience than New Zealand, because New Zealanders, you know, I don't know if it's changed now, but at that time, it was the craziest thing. Like, I always thought Canadians were friendly, and we also played in the States quite a bit too when we were playing music, and they're generally friendly to musicians anyway. You know, we're very fortunate, and we know we're fortunate. But New Zealanders are absolutely hilarious. We get off the plane, and of course we're both absolutely totally bagged, and we get a rental car, and they don't give you any training for the rental car. They just say, here are the keys. And I go, you know, aren't you going to at least, you know, check me out or tell me how to drive in this country? I'm driving on the other side of the road. They go, nope, up to you. And they just hand you. And our first stop, we drive out of town. I just want to get out of Auckland. I have to get out of the city alive. Get me out of the city alive. And I told you, just watch where we're going, and let's just get out of here. We've had no sleep for, I don't know, 40 hours or something. And we drive and we get out of town, and as soon as we get out of the city, we see like a farmer's market. We're like, let's just have a break. I need a break. Let's go in. And we walk up to the stall, or one of the booths, and everyone is super friendly, and we're talking to them, and they find out we're from Canada, and within 5 minutes, they offer us a place to stay at their house. Oh. And I'm like, I look at Sheila and I'm like, what? And I go, we just got here.
We've been in New Zealand for 3 hours, and we might drive a little bit more because you're not used to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we would stop.
They
would
weren't
get
even
lost.
home. They said, just go to our house. The door's open.
Really?
Yeah, because we'll be at the farmer's market all day. But if you're tired because you just landed, just go in and have a sleep.
Yeah. And so we're like, no, I think we'll move on. And then we left and we said, we had a talk before we had on this tour that we weren't going to do that, right? We weren't going to just say no. We would at least, check things out, and if they're scary, then
say no.
Yeah. So the very next place we stopped because I wanted to buy a car there because I'd read, the best thing to do is not rent. You don't want to rent a vehicle in New Zealand because it costs a fortune. You want to buy and then sell before you leave. If you're there we were going to be there for 2 months. So anyway, there's a car for sale on the side of the road. And we're looking at it, and this guy walks out and says, hey, are you interested in the car? And we're like, yeah. Is it yours? No, just wonder what you're up to. And we're like, oh, okay. He goes, want to come to my house for tea? And we're like, look at each other. Well, I guess we have to now. We just had a talk.
That talk, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure enough, we have them. And then right after that, he goes, well, I'll just call the person that has the car for sale, and they're going to come up. He comes up. He's absolutely hilarious. He's never worn shoes in his life. He's a fairly young guy, and he's married. And he goes, we make a deal in the car, and he goes, where are you guys staying tonight? And I almost burst out laughing as soon as he said it, because I go, here we go again.
Here it goes. Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah, and he goes, and we said, oh, we don't know yet. And he goes, we can stay at our place.
So
And you said yes.
So we did.
Yep.
And that's how that whole 2 months
Wow.
was
just place to place.
It was
And-
absolutely crazy, but absolutely the best trip ever. Like it was so amazing because there's Sheila, recovering, and we don't know the future, but the whole trip was just one thing after another. We're in the back of a tractor riding up over hills on guys' farms because he wanted to show us his
pasture.
We're riding in this
Yep.
box in the back of the tractor on the steepest hill as you could possibly imagine. I'm like, if we survive this, it's a miracle.
Yeah. Oh, it was
Oh,
just
my
the
goodness.
greatest trip, and we'd get lost because we didn't want to always check the map, and it was before you had the cell phone telling you wherever you go. So we'd get lost a lot, and
Which was the best.
We'd pull in and we'd say, hi, kind of where are we? And they say, oh, are you American? Are you Canadian? And we say, Canadian. Well, come on in for tea, and and so it was really, really, it was great, and we've met some fantastic friends that we stay with now, and we love them.
Yeah, I feel it.
So you've been back?
Oh, 5 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And the really neat thing about New Zealand is that we're able to go play music there as well. So when we travel there, we spend a month playing music there. So it's awesome. Yeah.
Small schools with 30 kids from kindergarten to grade 6, even smaller than that. And we played a wedding right basically on a cottage and on the beach, because we were now staying with our friends and who owned a gas station, kind of like an Alcurve store, but a little bit bigger. And we had told them that we had played
met
music.
them within the first week, and we're still good friends with them. So.
And this guy knew that we had played, and he comes in, he goes, do you guys want to play a wedding? Because I'm in a band, and my guitar player just was in a car accident and broke his wrist or arm or something like that. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
And so,
we're like, awesome.
Yeah. So we played this wedding right down by the beach. It was amazing.
Wow.
So we've had awesome experiences in New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that why you guys said, let's do this? Let's come on here and tell our story, because we never say no.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We can't say no.
What advice do you have for people? What advice do you have for young couples just starting out?
You take that away, Sean.
I think
Well, Heather wants
communication.
First of all, Heather wants to know if Tim ever stops smiling, because she said she's never seen him without a smile on his
true.
face.
I rarely smile. Actually.
You're smiling now.
I don't think I am.
But you guys seem like like such a happy couple. Like
We pull it off so well.
I know.
But like, what's the key? What keeps you guys so happy? Because I don't think it's a show. I think you guys actually are pretty happy. So
The medication.
I think
See, why can't he be funny like that on stage? I don't understand.
I don't know why.
I think, well, we have fun together, and
Communication, though,
yeah,
is key.
yeah, communicate and find things that you like to do together, which is pretty much everything in our case, except maybe riding horses. Tim likes to ride horses, and I like to walk the dog. So,
Yeah, that's good.
but no, it's yeah, we just enjoy each other's company.
How many years together?
Almost 31.
That's a long time.
Wow.
That's married years.
Oh, yeah,
Married
yeah,
years,
that's true.
Well, it doesn't seem like you were together before you got married. And she was.
Yeah, you're always apart.
That's
Well,
right.
we figured
I know,
that-
and that is so hilarious because you think of it, the 4 years before we got married, we spent very little time together, really. Overall actual time, and then we go from that to 24 hours a day.
Yes.
For the next 30 years
Yes.
almost. It's,
Yeah.
but it.
You're such a trooper. Way to go, Sheila.
Thanks. I've
earned it, yeah.
But no, it's been great. But we do say we probably, compared to a lot of couples that, they go to this business and this business to work, and then they see each other maybe 15 minutes in the morning, and at supper time, then in the evening, unless
That'd be so hard.
that would be so weird to me. And so we figured that we've been married probably about 150 years compared to, if we took all the time together.
Yes.
We're looking
Yes.
good for our age.
Yeah, way to go.
Well, in comparison, I remember asking my dad, because they've been together for 50 years, right?
Oh, wow.
And I remember asking my dad, like, what is it that, have they been together 50 years? Yeah, I think so. What has kept, like, how do you keep things? And he goes, well, I was never home. What's the key? And he goes, I was never home. So you guys are the opposite.
Always home.
Yeah.
You guys are opposite.
Yeah.
Always home. Has there been one gift along the way, like that has, like, how romantic is Tim? Like, he's like you. I think you have to have a soft side to be a musician, right?
Yes, that emotional side, the
How romantic is
sensitive side.
Tim?
I cry a lot.
Does he rise up
My
to the
gift.
occasion for Valentine's Day?
Well, we're playing for Valentine's Day, if that's what you mean.
That's the
You're working on Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
But what does he give? Like, has there been
Any grand romantic gestures?
There was that necklace I gave her when she said, "Thank goodness it's not a ring."
That's it.
He sang me the most awesome song that he wrote at our wedding. And
Really?
it was beautiful, yeah.
Why is he laughing about
Yeah,
it? Really? You wrote her a song at the wedding?
Yeah, it was
Okay,
awesome.
that
It was
might.
called Sheila.
You might not have skipped over that part. Do you know all the words still?
I know the main word.
But that's pretty awesome.
It was very awesome.
I would say that's a pretty grand gesture, Tim.
Thanks.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything more romantic, is there,
I
Sheila,
don't
than
think
a
so.
guy writing a song
You're
about
saving
it?
me here. Thank you. I totally
No,
agree.
Well, it's something I couldn't do.
Yeah, I didn't cry at my wedding at all until Tim sang that. Then I got mad at him
It was
because he
bit-
made me cry.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It's probably because I was singing out of key. It's like, jeepers. This guy.
Get it together.
If you're going to sing a song to me, at least have it in key.
So
Jeepers.
your dad finally accepted Tim?
He did, yeah,
Yeah.
after we got married.
Was it? Was it after?
No, it was, no. He liked him a lot. But it was just the initial thing, shock, yeah.
Shock and awe.
It does seem like it was just like just meant to be with you guys. It just,
It does, yeah.
It
from that
does.
very first day of, I know somebody, I know a drummer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
go play in the band to
Yeah.
you pull up late, she's outside, see her for the first time. Yeah. Do you have any more questions, Heather?
Do you still have the letters you wrote to each other?
I do, yeah.
Yeah? Do you reread them a lot, or?
No, I don't. I should, but they're in
I do
a.
not want to read what I wrote.
Take them and run them through the chat GTP now.
I know that'd be so good.
Yeah.
I know it's always constantly looking stuff up. Like, oh, better double check.
Yeah. So any plans to go back to New Zealand?
Probably
Oh,
next year, yeah.
Probably next year? Every couple of years, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always think, oh, we should go to another place, because there's so many places in the world that we want to travel to, but New Zealand is just almost like our second home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many wonderful friends there, and the fact that we can go there and play music, because it's kind of a thing that's, when you play music, you kind of don't want to take too long of a break from doing it. You know, it's you just want to, especially if you love doing it, you just, and the fact if you can do it when you're traveling.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is, especially we get to do it together for one thing, we also get to meet a lot of people when you're traveling doing it, and that's just awesome, right? It's just the best. So.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for sharing your story. We have a $100 gift card from
thank
Spiro's
you.
for you.
Oh, thank you, Spiros.
So that you can do a romantic evening.
Oh, excellent.
And Tim, if you want to go get a box with a necklace in it, Richardsons Jewellery would welcome you in. I'm sure they can put it in a longer box so she'll know it's not a ring. But thank you both. Thanks for sharing your love story.
We're happy to be here.
And we really appreciate you. Sheila, we're so glad you're still here. We really are. Like,
Well,
I remember back to that time, everybody was nervous. And it has been, I can't imagine Lloydminster without the Prairie Dogs now.
That's just what I was thinking. Or Ernestine Hatpin show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, there's so many things that I've been at where you guys have been, I've been at a car show, you're there playing, you know, so many things that we,
It's
you know.
like the Lloydminster without you guys around.
The Kinsmen had their big celebration. You guys, like, that was one of the best parties I've ever been to. You guys played such great music. Everybody was dancing. You know, that night was just awesome for dancing. I remember that night. And there's so many nights that I remember the night in Elkhurst. I remember that night. I remember there was roast beef supper. Right?
Wow.
Like, go figure. Small town roast beef supper. But I still, like, I could look at my Facebook and see pictures of that night and having a great time.
Oh, we were looking at our Facebook, Tim's Facebook, and had a great picture with you. We were playing at downtown at the Christmas, the Christmas fair or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw that one too.
Yeah.
Fond memory.
Yeah. That was a great one. Yeah.
Awesome. Tim and Sheila Gibbs, that's their love story. And it is brought to you by Spiro's and Richardsons Jewellery on Live with Kurt Price. And we will have one more love story for you yet to come before we get to Valentine's Day.